Hey groupies, welcome back. I'm the video channel producer, and today we are checking out FANCI by GIRLKInd. Never heard of them before, but a handful of our groupies actually suggested them to us, so I'm going to be checking them out. And that's FANCI with an I, by the way, not with a Y. And as the English language permits, anything that ends with an I that should end with a Y is a lot more promiscuous. That's Tiffany with an I, Cherry with an I, Becky with an I. So let's get into it. Let's see how fancy it actually is. This is your form of therapy. Oh, okay.
With the girls with the fancy what? With the girls with the flashy what?
I'm really digging this synth opening. I'm a sucker for synths, but we'll see.
With the girls with the fancy what?
Okay.
With the girls with the fancy what?
The lyrics and the songwriting is a bit cheesy, but this instrumental synth background is pretty solid, and their dancing is pretty solid. It's pretty hip-hop oriented. Yeah, I was wondering if they were gonna be a not so typically feminine girl group, given that the setting is a boxing ring. Oh, is this the chorus? I feel like when, during the pre-chorus, during that build-up, when the vocalist was trying to hit that high note, which she couldn't really hit that high, it just kind of stopped. See, I think they're a little bit lacking in vocals, and they're a little bit lacking in the musical department, but the visuals and dancing here is pretty on point. I feel like that's a copyright issue right there. They have their logo FANCI written in the style of the Fila logo. Yeah, even this part where they're saying A, I feel like they're singing a key lower than they actually should be. Like, it's not as powerful. It's not hitting my ears hard. And this girl, I feel like they're touting her as the main vocalist, but she hasn't proven to me that she is main vocal worthy yet. See, even that. She's stretching out that note, but it's really, really low.
Fancy what? Flashy what? Fancy what? Flashy
This main girl catches my eye a lot. She kind of reminds me of Nayeon from Priston. They don't look alike necessarily, but for some reason I'm reminded of her. Okay, so I want to preface, I don't think this was bad. I think it had a lot of potential. I think a lot of the setup here was pretty good, and I think this is a high quality music video. The performance aspects were actually very beautiful. They were very simple, but it highlighted the choreography very well. There was a lot of physical lighting work. If you saw, like, they were actually flashing the lights in that white void where they were performing the choreography. They had backup dancers. Like, it all fit with the aesthetic of what they were wearing. This was very 90s influenced, both the hip-hop choreography in and of itself and the fashion, honestly. But I think they were very severely lacking in the music department. I think First of all, the instrumental started out great. The synths, I'm a sucker for synths. The synths were a great touch. It's always interesting to mix hip-hop with other elements that aren't traditionally hip-hop, and sort of having EDM synth-like tones with a hip-hop track would have been dope, except the instrumental doesn't really go anywhere else. It doesn't experiment any further, and the melody and tune it keeps is consistent throughout the song. It doesn't take you on a journey. And same with the girl's vocals. The main vocalist, she never goes out of her comfort zone. She never stretches her notes to the extent where I'm impressed. I just feel like this group was playing it safe. And yes, sometimes you should play it safe, but this was a little too safe. The rapping didn't stand out to me. The rapping blended in way too much with the instrumental track. And maybe this is just a problem with the mixing, because I just feel like none of these girls' voices stood out and they blended way too much with the song. I didn't feel like the song was overpowering it, but they blended too well. And honestly, mixing is an art form in and of itself on how to make vocals stand out while making the instrumental just as powerful. And this instrumental wasn't even powerful. This instrumental was very, very chill. So either these girls need better training with singing, or they need a better mixer. I just feel like this song had so much potential to be something more, and it just wasn't. I feel like on the choreography aspect, the choreography was good. It was a little bit hip kwando, sort of like a little bit cheesy in my opinion. Sort of the lyrics, a lot of this was very cheesy. A lot of this was very 90s. And that's the thing about K-pop right now. We're going through a resurgence where a lot of K-pop is very 90s influenced right now, which is weird to say because the 90s was only like, oh my god, it was 20 years ago. I was about to say 10 years ago, but we're in 2017. Oh my god, that's not even 20 years ago then. It was 30 years ago. It's almost nearing 30 years since the start of the 90s. So I guess it makes sense to go back and be influenced by that. What a lot of other K-pop groups tend to do is they would mix and take influences from the 90s and mix it with modern day mannerisms, but this just feels like, I don't know, something straight out of the 90s. It didn't work for me at all. I will check out their first comeback if they do have one, just because I think the debut wasn't terrible. And perhaps with their first comeback, if they can fix the mistakes they made in this song, there's still hope for them yet. Anyways, guys, what did you think of FANCI by GIRLKIND? Did you like it or did you not like it? Let me know in the comments below. Also, thank you to our patrons. We couldn't do it without you guys. If you want to join us, go to patreon.com/formatherapy. For as little as $2 a month, you get early access or more. Just go to the link. Also, if you want to help us out without providing any monetary income, just go ahead and click like down below. It helps us out a lot. Or just, you can go ahead and click subscribe over here, or watch any of our other videos over here, or pick up some merch.